Welcome to the Page by Page Book Club. I'm your host, Paige Imprint, and I bring you weekly book club meetings wherever you get your podcasts. You all saw the title, right? You saw what's about to happen? Oh my gosh. And if you're wondering, yes, I am in fact pinching myself. I am over the moon, elated, and so grateful to be inviting the one, the only, Catherine Cowles to book club today. If you're wondering, Catherine is the complete and utter delight that you think that she is. She is sunshine personified and just such a lovely, incredible soul. And it was such an honor chatting with her about her author career and the course of her past few series, and of course, the release of her brand new book, Across the Vanishing Sky, the first book in her brand new series, Starlight Grove. So I think that's enough from me. Without further ado, Catherine Cowles, welcome to book club.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I was just telling you, I could not be more over the moon. I have gotten request after request, especially in the past few weeks, saying, is she going to be there? And I said, I don't know. I know nothing of the sort.
I know. What could happen? Anything.
I know. The suspense is just, we're on the edge of our seat. And I again, could not be more grateful for your time and for you to be here and to chat about your new release, Across the Vanishing Sky. Brand new series, brand new book, and we'll get into it. Fear not, everybody. But if you've been here, you know, I like to start with a discussion of villain origin story. For authors, it's how did you get into reading? How did you get into writing? So Catherine, what is your villain origin story as a reader and an author?
I love it. You know, thinking about that question, I'm like, when did my reader villain origin story start? And honestly, I've been a reader for as long as I can remember. I have memories of like both my parents, honestly, reading me like chapter books, and like my mom and I have a thing about Little Women. She read that book to me. Like I have so many sweet memories of that. So like really early on, and it just kind of never stopped. I was obsessed with anything I could get my hands on, and as a surprise to no one, I loved the mysteries like Nancy Drew. Like when I was reading Babysitter Club, I wanted like the mystery ones that were like way longer, so it tracks for me. So that was kind of my reader origin story. And writer, honestly, like several years after college, I got back into reading and found romance and just fell in love, and was such a fan of indie romance, especially. Like I really found a lot of stories that I loved in the indie space. And it just so happened I had a back injury. I got bucked off a horse, which was a crazy experience. And I was laid up for quite a while. And I was having a hard time sleeping. And so I was just like consuming every book I could find. Like I binged so many series. And I was recovering from that injury, recovering from a surgery. And I was like, you know, if there was ever a time for me to write a book, like this is the time. I'm not working right now. I'm like, let's just see if I could do this. And I was like, I want to write one book. And like, if I hate the experience, I never have to do it again. But I loved it. I just fell in love and never looked back. So
amazing. That's so incredible. And my next question, you've kind of already answered, but having written just about 30 romantic suspense books, was your intro into romantic suspense? Indeed, do you have any recommendations from those early times for readers to dive into?
So, you know, I read super widely when I was getting started. There were so many that I loved, but I have been a Nora Roberts fangirl basically forever. She is just the queen to me. Her romantic suspense is just, I love it so much. Like I could honestly read her write the phone book, truly.
Yes.
There's something about her writing style. So she probably is my biggest influence, I would say. She is just the way that she weaves, especially like a family saga too, I think just has really, unreal. She is next level. I love her so freaking much. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. But in terms of the indie space, this is later on that she started doing romantic suspense like fully that I was reading. But Samantha Young, who is just like, I remember viscerally, she sent me, we were like just starting to be friends a little bit, and she sent me an arc of Here With Me. And I read the first chapter of that book and I was like, dang you. Like, I'm like, why do you have to be so good? Like, I was just like,
Unreal.
the characters were so fully formed. It was so rich. Like, I love that
Yes.
series so much, the Adair family series. Like, she is such a talented writer. I love
She
her.
is.
Also, Mia Sheridan. I don't know if you've read Where the Blame Lies and Where the Truth Lives. Oh my goodness. I was like,
Unreal.
this makes me want to be a better writer. So
I
I love
love when
those
that
two.
happens. Oh
Yes.
my gosh, that's
Yes,
amazing. And
young.
I've told you before in our past interactions, I started reading Samantha Young because of you. I had just read back to back Lost and Found and Tattered and Torn, and I didn't even have a bookstagram at the time. I was just enjoying reading.
Mhm.
And I went to your Instagram and you just happened to be doing a Q&A and suggested there With You by Samantha Young,
Yeah.
book two in the
Uh-huh.
Adair's, and
So
that
good.
started my journey with her. And
You're
oh, it's
welcome.
so fun. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, like, and it's been so fun now to get to follow along both of your series, and both of you have new suspense series come out. It's so exciting. So I love that. Kind of piggybacking off of this recommendation conversation. I try to give book club required reading. There's required reading with this book club. If you had to make this book club have required reading, do you have any recs?
I have so many recs. Like honestly, I feel like it's going to be hard for me to narrow it down truly.
Love it.
We have to put a Nora book on there, obviously. So I
Must.
am going with The Obsession. It's a little
Okay.
darker, but
Fun.
I absolutely ate that book up. I reread it probably every other year, honestly. Like, I just love
Amazing.
it so much. So that definitely the Adair Family series by Samantha
Hmm.
Young, 100%. I also am such a huge fan of Little Lies by Helena Hunting.
Hmm.
It
Okay.
has like a little bit of suspense at the beginning that
Sure.
kind of is the, I don't know, backstory for the characters. And
Sure.
her character development in that book is just
Yeah.
phenomenal. I love it. I
Love.
also really love, and this kind of is like suspense, but in a little bit of a paranormal realm, the
Hmm.
Psy Changeling series by Nalini Singh. It's
Okay.
so good. It's such a unique series, and I just love it so much.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think about like different like subgenres in romance. I love for historical Never Seduce a Scot by Maya Banks.
Yes.
Impeccable. I love
Classic.
it.
Yeah.
She's wonderful, and I loved The Charlie Method by Elle
Yeah.
Kennedy. I love that series, but that was
Yes.
probably my favorite book. But ask me a different day and I might change my mind.
Sure. Okay,
So
I love
so
it.
many.
Everyone, write it down.
I
Get your Goodreads
know.
shelves ready. Catherine says. I love it. Okay, switching gears a little bit, back to romantic suspense, getting a little meta. We're going to zoom out a little bit. What to you makes a good romantic suspense?
You know, it's interesting. I've thought about this a lot because I think that it's hard to keep people on their toes when you've written a lot of books. And so I
Sure.
think you have to start experimenting with different types of surprises and twists. That's
Hmm.
not always like, oh my gosh, I'm so shocked at who the bad guy is, although that is so fun. And I love, trying to do that. But I
Sure.
also like other little surprises along the way. It could be, the why behind it all. It could be how things were
Hmm.
connected. It could be that the hero and heroine, like, their kind of origin stories overlap and we didn't know,
Sure.
until the climax, all these different sorts of things. But I think there are two really, really important things about a good romantic suspense. One is you have to care about the characters, like, you have to be invested in their journeys. And number two is just that it has to keep you guessing. It can be in
Hmm.
whatever way, but you have to have that feeling at the end of every chapter. Oh my gosh, I need
Yeah.
to know what happens next.
Yes. The page turner element of it is
Exactly.
absolutely so integral. Do you have to plot pretty heavily? Are you more of a pantser? Do you have to plot to get, your red herrings and all the things?
I am the opposite of a pantser. I have
Okay.
to plan out absolutely everything. Like, some of my
Love it.
friends, it just makes them laugh so much.
Yeah.
So I will, when I'm getting ready to start a new series, I will kind of plot out loosely the series overall. So what's going to kind of happen in each book, maybe who the baddies are going to be, or at least who the characters are, what I'm kind of leading them through. Mm-hmm. And then when I get to the book itself, when I sit down to plot that book, I am writing down my baddie, I'm writing down the red herrings, and then I'm actually plotting chapter by chapter. And I have started to really be able to feel like, okay, we've had a couple of chapters that are more focused on the romance. It's time for something to happen now. Like, what's going to happen to kind of like throw everybody off center a little bit. And then I plot the whole thing by chapter, scene by scene, and then I start writing.
Amazing. And I feel like that process has to be kind of fun. It's like the meme where he's like pointing everywhere with the red.
Like, I have this giant bulletin board in my office, and usually like if I'm just in the beginning stages, I'll put note cards up there, and then at some point I clear off my dining table or my coffee table, and I actually move things around of like, oh, actually I think this needs to happen earlier or later or what have you. And it really is like doing a jigsaw puzzle, which I love.
Yeah, I love that. That has to be so fun. I am going to kind of continue the process conversation. I'm super grateful to have authors who follow along on this journey too. So I love to ask a few questions just about your authorship as well. Yeah. So you've had kind of a extremely exciting growth through the Sparrow Falls series, and just especially just series by series, it feels like you've just been growing and growing, which is so exciting. And I would love to know if you could have coffee with yourself. It could be 3 years ago, 5 years ago, or a time in your author career that it would be the most meaningful. What would you tell her?
So there was a year where I felt really stuck. I felt like, things were going well, but I wasn't growing. I wasn't achieving new things. And I think I would love to have a conversation with her. And the biggest thing that I would say is trust yourself. I think there was a period of time where writing what I was writing in terms of having like that suspense element was not as common as it is right now. And I had gotten some advice like, maybe you shouldn't do that. Like, maybe you should just write straight contemporary. And I told the person at the time, I was like, I literally do not think I could do that. Like, I don't think I could write a book without that in it. And same goes for like my prologues. Like there are schools of thought out there that's like, oh, don't do a prologue. Like, people don't want to see that. They're not invested in that.
I want to see it.
It was just like, these are the things that have made me unique. And what makes us unique is what is going to end up being our superpower. So that's like the biggest thing that I think is so, so important is like, yes, like finding good editors, finding good cover designers, all that stuff is so important. Finding, author friends that you can bounce ideas off of, all of that stuff. But I truly think the most important thing on the journey is to trust yourself and trust your voice. Like, your voice is like, you could give me, and even Sam, my bestie, like, you could give us the same outline and we would write two completely different books. It would just be night and day different because we have different voices. And that's what's so beautiful about this book world,
Yeah, it's so fun to see. Especially in the age of tropes, a book could have bar for bar the exact same tropes, and the stories being so different is so fun. Like, I love to see it. And I tell people all the time when I'm chatting with authors, I'm like, you're the only person who can write a Catherine Cowles book, literally. Yep. Everyone else could like market for you or make a graphic or what have you, but no one else can write the book the way you can. And like, how empowering and how special to have that art form. I just think it's so beautiful. Exactly. So
I love it so much.
Yeah, it's amazing. If that's kind of your moment of like resurgence for yourself, if you could kind of give her a boost.
Yep.
On the flip side, what are you most proud of, accomplishment wise, or just, making it through that time and putting out another book when you felt down? Anything in between?
It's been interesting because there have been things that have happened, especially in the past year or so, that I never in a million years thought would have happened. Like if you could tell baby author me that, I would hit the New York Times or #1 on Amazon, things that I just did not think were in any way in the realm of possibility. Like those things are incredible and so special and so wonderful, and I don't diminish them at all.
No.
But there are things that have come to mean more.
Yes.
And I think it's super important to hold on to them. And some of those things are, one is, I feel like the community that I've built, I feel like very, very lucky that the people around me and the readers that are kind of in my close sphere, they are kind, they are generous, they are kind to each other. That has felt so special.
Yes.
Also, just some of the experiences that I've gotten to have this summer when we were in Montana. I got to meet one of my very favorite authors, Kristen Ashley, who another romantic suspense gem, by the way.
Love it.
I had read her books when I was going through a really hard time. And I got to meet her for the first time. And she knew who I was. She was like, "You're doing so amazing." I almost cried. I was shaking.
Of course.
It was just the most special experience that I got to think to myself, this is somebody whose books pulled me through a dark period. I'm getting to meet them as a colleague, as, somebody who we're sharing the same space. That is so incredibly special. And then when you take it a step further, when people send me a message that say, this made me feel seen, this made me feel understood, this got me through a hard time, that cycle to me is the most special thing about all of this.
Yeah, it's so, I think the most fulfilling author careers that I've spoken with people about are when they've been able to have definitions of success outside of kind of those metrics of, lists and numbers and placements, and defining their success in addition through other. Because when we think about legacy and how we'll remember our experience in those communities and those kind of things, I think a lot of it doesn't have to do with ranking or listing or what have you. And the people.
There's that saying about people remember how you make them feel.
Yes.
And I think that's what I think about so often is the people who have made me feel really wonderful, and then hopefully having that come back to my readers and the people that I'm interacting with.
I love it. You literally read my mind, because my next question was, if there's something you wish readers would take away from your stories, what would it be? And
I think the biggest thing that I hope readers take from my stories is that you're stronger than you know. You can go through the hardest moments and make it out the other side, and you're going to be a person that you admire more, like more, feel more strongly about on the other side. And I think this about the romance genre in general, that this is a genre of hope. We can write these stories where the worst can happen in it, but we're going to get that HEA at the end. And it's one of the reasons why I love this genre. But I think my books in particular, I talk a lot about past trauma, struggles, especially in the mental health sphere, self-worth, things like that. And those are just issues that I'm never going to stop writing about because they're just really important to me.
Absolutely. And the opportunity we have in fiction to experience empathy and read stories outside of our lived experience and learn about other people. I empathize with people that I previously had a lot of difficulty relating to in my life because I've read stories from POVs that felt like
That are
them.
different from you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
such a blessing. Like
I love
truly.
that. Yeah,
I'm so
I
grateful for
agree.
those stories. So lifting out of it, this is a little less serious, but it could be very serious. You could say this is very serious. Are there any Easter eggs that you have left that people haven't noticed or you wish people would pay attention to more?
I don't know that there's anything that like hasn't been found.
Sure.
The most fun that I had was in Sparrow Falls leading up to Kyan Fallon's book because
It was so exciting.
when I started that series, when I sat down to write it, I wasn't sure that I was going to write that dynamic. I had a friend who had challenged me. She was like, if you're going to do a foster siblings series, there needs to be two that like get together. And I was like, no, 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 that's not my vibe. Like, I don't write taboo, blah, blah, blah. But the moment she said it, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And so it was just going in the back of my head, and I was just trying to like figure out how that could work if it was me, like in my the way that I
Yeah.
write. And one little idea grabbed hold and it just ran. Like I've never had a book do that before where it just like took over. And so before I even started writing book one, I knew where their story was going to go. So I had so much fun over 6 books, teasing and developing
Yeah.
all of that. And there were things too that I found along the way, like ideas that I got as I was further
Sure.
along. But there were things I was planting, from the very beginning, which was very fun.
It was such a fun experience from top to bottom and everything you did. I just always like to give the floor. I'm like, if there's something people have a
I
rock
know.
left unturned,
I don't think
this
so.
is where
My
amazing.
readers are pretty dang amazing in terms
Yes.
of what they're looking at. Sometimes
Yeah.
even I'll be like, man, I didn't even think about that, but that's great.
Love it. Yeah, the Swifties and Catherine Cowles fans are
Exactly.
all
We are
in
like
the same
this.
boat. Yes, I love it. I love it. The what is it? Oh my gosh. Venn diagram is a
Oh,
circle.
yes,
Which
exactly.
we
It
love.
is a large
Yes.
center section.
Yep. I love it. It's so fun. Okay, this is perfect segue. You just continue to perfectly segue me, and for that I'm forever grateful. Before we jump into all of the excitement with Across the Vanishing Sky, I would love to chat about Sparrow Falls and just it was so beloved by the community, and I know a lot of people would be so bummed if I didn't bring it up on our during our chat. Yes. So, how has it felt now that the series has come to an end?
Bittersweet for sure. It I struggled when after I wrote that last book because
Sure.
Secret Haven really just almost felt like it wrote itself. Like it was such
Sure.
a joyful writing experience, and it was really hard to go to a new world after that.
Sure.
But I think part of that is just because the readers interacted with it in such a special way. Like
Sure.
every book that came out, it felt like it built on itself. And so the predictions for the next book and what people thought was going to happen and who is going to end up with who and is this happening and who is the baddie, and there was a secondary character throughout the series who people kept thinking was going to be a bad guy and never was, and I was
Never
like,
was.
so sorry for you.
Sorry, everybody. Yeah. Poor guy.
Yeah, I know. So
Yeah.
that kind of stuff I just find so fun, and I think it'll always have a very special place in my heart because, and even in my mind, like there's an aesthetic to it. Like it feels like the Lover era for Taylor Swift, those kind of like
Yes.
bright colors and fun
Yeah.
things. And
Yes,
I
there
love
they
it.
are.
Oh my God,
Love
perfect.
it. Yes. No, that's so perfect. And each of your series truly do have their own feel and like just experience and setting. You set that up so beautifully. So
Oh, thank
that
you.
absolutely carries through. With Sparrow Falls, it kind of sounds like I know the answer on the easiest, but what was the easiest and the hardest
Ooh,
story
that's a
to come
great
together?
I'm like looking at my books.
Yeah. Or is
So
it all a
the
breeze?
easiest was Secret Haven for sure. I think the hardest of two answers to that. One is Fragile Sanctuary book one, just because book ones are hard. You're in a new
Sure.
world, you're finding your footing, you're trying to figure out what the vibe is going to be.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to second guess. So I think that had its own challenges. And then um, when I was working through edits on Broken Harbor, I was unsure about the climax. Like I was like,
Sure.
is this I was trying to kind of do something a little different. Plug your ears if you've already read, but I or if you haven't read, I mean, I wanted it to be somebody that wasn't out of left field, but I wanted the reasoning to be the shock.
Love that.
And I second guessed that a little bit because I was like, oh, people expect to have no clue like who the baddie is. But sometimes it's good to know because it keeps people on their toes across all books. And it's just a different flavor, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I did struggle when I was like reading through. I was like, is this the right way to do it? You know? And I'm really happy with how it turned out. So,
As you should be. It was phenomenal. I just love them. Oh my gosh. Okay, and we got a lot of crossover meeting our MMC and Across the Vanishing Sky decks.
Yeah.
Was that fun to kind of Easter egg and hint at what was to come?
it really was fun. I love doing that. Like obviously I love planting the little Easter eggs of what might be, ahead and thinking about, okay, what about this character is going to make readers be like, "Oh my God, I can't wait for his story."
Yes.
That is really fun for me. But I'm building his character as I'm writing this series. I haven't written his book yet, so I don't know everything. So I can sometimes back myself into a corner. I've done it before where I was like, why did I write that? Because now I can't do this other thing. Thankfully, that did not really happen with Dex but it's funny. It's like every little thing you write, you get another piece of the character. So I knew he had family damage, but I didn't know what until I got further on in the series.
Yeah, I love that. Do you feel like your characters are like just people in your lives to an extent, or are you able to compartmentalize?
It is interesting because in some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. I will tell you that I have to write them to figure them out. This is almost always true when I'm working on a book. So I just finished another book in the Starlight Grove series, and the thing that was so interesting was like about 20,000 words in, like it was feeling good, but there was something that wasn't quite right about one of the characters, and I was like 20,000 words in, I realized exactly what it was. And I was like, oh, I've got this now. Like, I know what this is. And like, then I had to go back and self-edits and kind of make some little tweaks and I had to do with his motivation and stuff like that. But I have to put my characters through stressors to know who they are. Like, how would they react if this happened? And because I've done work ahead of time in their characterizations, that's how I really like figure it out is once I'm actually putting words to the page.
I love that. I love all the character lore. Like, oh, they would be an Enneagram type whatever. Or they would absolutely wear Crocs. Or they would clap when the airplane lands. Just like these random things. Like, it's canon, but not. Like, it's just my favorite. I love it.
This is very much how they would be.
I love it. I think I just get a hoot out of those little tidbits when authors drop them. So absolutely love that. Okay, well, let's just dive into Across the Vanishing Sky. It is such a special story. I told you before we started recording, if you're listening on release day, this came out yesterday, so you can download now. If you've already read it, which I'm sure many of you have, we're going to be just chatting about all the exciting things. It is truly my favorite book you've ever written, your best work to date. Just suspense, the romance, everything about it was phenomenal. This is a very vague question, and I can get more specific if you would like, but Can you give a brief overview of Across the Vanishing Sky, Dex and Braden, and perhaps even just the Starlight Grove series, how the brothers, what their background is and experience and all that good stuff?
100%. So we really start out this book with our heroine, Bray, whose best friend went missing a year ago. She is still looking for her. She feels like the sheriff has not really done a great job of this. And it just so happens that she finds out that her neighbor might just be her very grumpy, broody, hilarious yet horrible meet cute
Hot. Hot.
Neighbor is a hacker who might be able to help her on her journey. But our hero has a ton of walls, and he has these walls up because he is one of 5 brothers whose father was a very prolific serial killer. So he's been judged a lot his whole life. The town kind of reacts to them in a very specific way that is not all that positive in a lot of cases. And I think the idea for this really came from past books, to be totally honest. I had written so often somebody being impacted by, a violent crime or a death, but I hadn't ever looked at the other side of that. Like, what about the loved ones of the murderer? Like, what is their life like? It's a different sort of trauma. And so I got really excited about trying to explore that a bit.
It truly, the motivations behind both Dex and Bray were so potent and powerful to me. Specifically, like, Bray, just the sisterhood between her and her best friend. And it's so, so special to, like, care about someone deeply enough where she's like, I know in my soul, in my gut, she's here somewhere. And to never give up. It was just, was there anything that inspired that relationship? Like, do you have a best friend or just any community in your life? Or was it just like, I wanted to write this dynamic?
I have amazing, incredible friends. Like, I'm very lucky. I'm an only child myself, so I've never had, like, I haven't grown up with siblings. So friends really kind of became family in a lot of ways for me. So I think, and I'm just really attracted to the found family trope, as beautiful. If you read any of my books, it's basically like a family can take a lot of different shapes and sizes, which I just love that message. But I specifically, my female friendships in my life, that sisterhood, I have some friends from high school specifically that have just walked with me through the ups and downs of life, and we would do anything for each other. And I wanted to put that into a book, and like, what would it mean to have this depth of friendship with someone where they were basically, and you find this out very early on in the book, her friend has kind of helped, she's a single mom, and her friend has helped her raise her son, has really been the other half of this puzzle. And then she vanishes. And what do you do? Because you never get over that. You never stop looking for answers.
It's so beautiful. And just for women, it was so validating. I love my husband. No hate on my husband. But, like, female friendship really is that important. And it is that valuable. And the love that you have between you and your best friend is that serious. Like, we see like people fighting for romantic love in many ways, but the way you portrayed platonic friend love was so just phenomenal in this story. So absolutely loved. Their Meet Not So Cute was one of my all-time favorites. Oh my gosh. So be sure to, flag if you haven't read it yet. Just be ready for
ultimate, like, no good, very bad day for our hero going into
horrible.
It. And like, that just made it so much better. I'm like being a total tease here, but it was such a fun scene to write.
It was unreal, and it was kind of all orchestrated by a very, very funny landlord, and you have such a beautiful skill with side characters, whether it be the funny grandmother, someone who meddles, those kind of things. Is it? And we're always suspicious of them, bless their hearts. Always. They're always a suspect. Everyone's a suspect. But do you enjoy, especially with the found family being one of your favorite tropes, getting to write those side characters who make their way through the series?
I really, really do. And I think because I write about somewhat heavier topics, I think we really need those moments of humor to kind of release the pressure valve a little bit. And I also just feel like that's the balance of life. There's hard things, there's funny things, there's wonderful things, you know, and I like showing that in my stories.
Yep. I love it. It's so beautifully done. What was the most important thing for you to focus on, like perspective-wise, as you were starting the new world of Starlight Grove?
I think for me, I wanted to make sure, because the brothers' core trauma is the same, it was a really fun challenge to be like, how would they deal with this differently? You know, how would their personalities show in handling all of this? But you want to make sure that each one feels unique, that it's not just the same wound over and over.
Sure.
And I thought that would be harder than it actually ended up being, because they all kind of have different roles in that. And so it really manifested very differently for all 5 of them, which I've loved exploring. It's just been fun for me because I'm twisted in that way.
Absolutely. Well, and each of them, you meet them all in Across the Vanishing Sky, and they're absolutely their own people. And many are asking, many are wondering, who's next? What's next? And we can't say, but be on the edge of your seat. Like, they're so lovable in their own ways, you know? Like, and I love how you Easter egg, and it's so fun getting to meet these people. Yes. Like, which perfectly, again, you're just the segue queen today. I love how differentiated the brothers are, and how each of their personalities and qualities about them are so defined from the out the gate. What are your favorite qualities about Dex and Bray?
Oh, I love this. For Bray, it's her ferocity. Like, she just does not give up. She will take no shit. She just keeps pushing on no matter what is in her way, whether that comes to being a good mom, to finding her friend who's missing, all of these things. She just will not back down, and I admire that so much. I want to channel a little bit of that in my life. And I think with Dex, it really is the fact that while he does not let many people in, once you're in, he will do anything for you. Yeah. He will do absolutely anything for you. And I really admire that. Like, maybe being a little bit of a tougher judge of character, but, you know, really having your people's back afterwards. And just the fact that he's so grumpy and broody with her, like, not really with everybody else in his life, but just with her.
Literally. Yes. It's
that
so
was
funny.
Really fun to write, because it's like kind of a different, it's a little bit of a different dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the way you write children, how funny they are, how integral they are to the story. We have another incredible Catherine Cowles child in Across the Vanishing Sky. Do you have any methodology to writing your children in your books?
So this book in particular, I have kids in and around me and stuff. So like, I have some, you know, I don't have my own kids, but I definitely get to see them in their in action, creating trouble and all the things.
Love it. Yes.
But I really wanted to write a little boy who had was using like a lot of like slang words, but I don't know what the slang words are right now. So
yes.
My dear friend Elsie Silver has a son, and so I was like, can I get baby Silver to help me with a task?
Love
And
it.
like a champ, he came through, and
Amazing.
really, so many of the characteristics of the little boy in this book, Owen, are thanks to him because he gave me like the
I love
words. And it's
that.
been funny because I've had a few moms message me and be like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is exactly like my
I
kids,"
love it.
and
It's
what they
so
say
funny.
over and over again. I'm like, "Yes,
Love
victory
it.
is
Yes.
mine."
Yes. Reading it, I truly was like, I'm so old. I'm so old. Like, I was
Right?
just like, I don't even know. I can't believe that I used to be this person,
I
like, to
know.
my
When I
mom.
sat down to write it, I was like, I don't know. I don't know what the
Yeah.
slang what the slang words are.
Oh my gosh. It was absolutely incredible. This is kind of veering away from Starlight Grove, but maybe not. What is your favorite trope to write? And is there a trope that you haven't written that you would love to write or you'll never write?
Ooh,
That's
these are these are
three-pronged
good
question.
ones.
Sorry.
I actually have an answer to all three of these.
Amazing. Amazing.
Um, my favorite trope to write is, which is kind of a made up trope, but I'm claiming it anyway,
Yeah.
is childhood friends to enemies to lovers. Or
The
like
best.
childhood friends to almost to enemies to lovers. That is my fave.
So good.
I just love it so much. There's something about that dynamic. I really love the familiarity of friends to lovers, but the added angst of like something went wrong. I
Sure.
love adding that.
Love.
A trope that I am dying to write but have not figured out how to do this is arranged marriage. I feel like it really only works with like mafia.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love that setup, like being forced together in that way more than just
Wild.
like a marriage of convenience, something
Yeah.
more. So if anybody has any genius ideas out there, send them
Yes.
send them my
Love
way.
it.
I would love to do it. And then the one trope I will never write. It's funny, I was talking to Laura Pavlov about this the other day. Bully, because I cannot handle the hero being truly mean to the heroine.
Yes.
Like
No.
I literally will curl into a ball. I cannot hang.
Yes. I'm the exact same way. I'm like, there's like that and like cheating. I'm like, I just don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. Yeah, I'm not gonna make it out. Oh my gosh. Is there? And you can say like, you'll just have to find out. Is there a trope that you haven't written yet that will be hit on in Starlight Grove?
Trying to think if there's one that I have. I've written like
You've
most
hit
of
them.
them
You've hit a
at
lot
this,
of them.
at
Yeah.
this stage.
It's
So
hard to have a rock unturned.
I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any brand new
Yeah.
ones. Although I'm
Yeah.
not done writing the series, so you never know.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Arranged marriage is still on the table.
Table.
It's always on the table. Oh my gosh. So, how are you feeling as you're stepping into a new series in your author career and stepping into a new project in general? We've kind of touched on what it's been like, but how are you?
I think I am a total mix of emotions. Also, my dog just sighed so loud at
Love
that
it.
question. He's like,
Rose said,
"How do I feel? This has been hard
Yes.
for me." He's like,
said, "I've been asking."
I've had to cuddle with her while she's been
Yes.
angsting over these
Love
books.
it.
Um, it truly is like the 100% honest answer is I'm two sides of one coin, which is one
Sure.
is like so excited, like the early reactions to this book of like the early arcs that went out have just been better than
So
I could have
good.
ever hoped for. So like so excited. And then on the other hand, like I'm nervous. Like this is a new
Yeah.
world and you have to convince people to kind of come along to this new place with you.
Yeah.
So that's nerve-wracking. So I
Absolutely.
think it's always a mix of both, but I also think that tells you that you care, you know?
Absolutely.
So I think that's just the price we pay.
I love it. That's so exciting. Well, as I mentioned when we got into Across the Vanishing Sky, it's out now. It came out yesterday. So if you haven't read it yet, be sure to pick it up. And I didn't ask you this before. So again, you can say no comment. My team says no. Is there anything you can tell us about what comes next? I'm sure people close the book and they're saying, Catherine, what's happening?
I can tell you the brother that is next is Cole
Yes.
Archer. our
So
single
exciting.
dad. And I can tell you that his daughter, Skylar, who you meet in book one,
A
I'm pretty
delight.
sure is my favorite character in all of Starlight Grove.
I'm so excited. She was so cute and funny
I
in
know. I
Across the
love
Page
her
Sky.
so much. She
Yep.
is two sides of another coin. She is like
Yes.
half princess, half commando, and I'm here
As
for
she
that
should be.
energy. Like
As
100%.
she should be. I love it. That's so exciting. And you've done something really unique with the audiobooks on this
Yes.
series as well. Can you speak on that a little bit for all
Yes,
my
I
audio
would love
girls?
to. So I knew I wanted to try duet narration with
Mm-hmm.
this new series, which basically means that the male narrator reads all the male parts and the female narrator reads all the female parts. So it's a little bit more like
Sure.
listening to a TV show or a play or something like that. And when I decided to do that, like far too close, honestly, to when we were starting to record, I sent a voice memo to my producer and was like, hey, what would you think if the brothers played their roles like throughout the entire series? Which means Cole will always play Cole on all 5 books and like so on and so forth. And she was like, let me see if I can make it happen. And she did because she's a miracle worker.
Amazing.
And that has just felt so fun and special because like we're
Yes.
reading the group, we're listening to the group text messages that you know get in the pages and just their conversations. And I
So
think the
fun.
other thing that's really fun is that it's giving all of the voice actors their backstory throughout the entire series, which is so fun. So
Amazing.
they've read all of those scenes, they know all of those parts, they know what their character has been through,
Sure.
you know, throughout the series, which I love.
Sure. It's so fun. I eyeball read it the first time when I got my like paperback way back. And then I got my audiobook yesterday and I'm doing a reread and it's been so fun
Oh my gosh, I
to
love
listen to
it.
the audio. It's just phenomenal. So if you're an audiobook person and haven't or if you're in the middle of the book, dare you say,
Yeah.
just download the audio. It's
I know.
worth
Get
it's
a
so
little-
much
get
fun.
a little ad.
Yes, so much fun. So that brings us to the conclusion of all of my questions, which you've just been so gracious and kind with your
No,
time.
thank
I'm
you.
just
This
so
has been
grateful.
so fun.
Yes, but I always like to say at the end, you have a captive audience here at Book Club of Catherine Cowles fans. Is there anything
love
you
it.
would like to say to your people who are
I
here?
think the biggest thing I would like to say is thank you. It's not very often that I get to express that, you know, just to everybody. And
Sure.
this career has been such a dream. I've gotten to do things that have just been some of the highlights of my life, and that's because of all of you. And I do not take for granted the time, energy, resources you put behind me. And thank you for reading, for recommending, for making posts. Like all of that really does mean so much. And I appreciate all of you. And thank you. Thank you for being part of my community. And Ro says thank you too.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's an honor and truly a privilege. And thank you for everything you do and you write, and for giving us such incredible stories. We're so grateful for you. And we'll have to chat again at some point
Yes, I would love
as
it.
we continue on in the series and meet new characters and all of that fun stuff. But be sure to check out Across the Vanishing Sky if you haven't yet. There's a ton of incredible, beautiful special edition versions out there between Target and Indigo and all the things. So be sure to check out all your options for covers as well. And it's available on Kindle Unlimited, Audio, all those places now. Catherine, thank you so much for being here. And
you for
I will
having me.
see
This
you
was so
all in the
fun.
next one. Yes. Oh my goodness. Goodbye, everybody. Yes.
Bye.